This video is brought to you by Jab.se, the lead supplier of MMA gear in Scandinavia. BetSafe.com, Europe's only online betting site for MMA.
Sebastian Vendel Martinez with MMA Net and Studio MMA, and we're here with Luke Barnatt from The Ultimate Fighter Season 17. And so tell us, how are you enjoying the event over here at UFC on Fuel 7?
I've actually just come here today for the press conference, and it's a new experience for me being part of all this sort of stuff. Being on the Ultimate Fighter has opened up a lot of windows of opportunity for me. Just like being able to come here is something new and speak to the press and be part of it. So, it's a very good experience for me, and it's pretty cool.
Now, going back to Ultimate Fighter, obviously there's a lot of secrecy surrounding it. But as a whole, what would you say? How did you feel about the experience of being on the Ultimate Fighter?
I mean, it wasn't just the Ultimate Fighter to me. It felt like it's been the greatest Ultimate Fighter that we've had in a long time. And Chael Sonnen was one of my idols before I actually went on the show. So being able to be on his team and being picked first by Chael was a massive thing. And like I said, there's a lot of secrecy about the show, but just the experiences, the people you meet, the people you get to be around. Little things like today. I see Dana, and he knows my name, and he comes up to me and gives me a hug and goes, "How you doing, brother?" It's a big thing. So it was an amazing experience, and I would go to say it was the best experience of my life. The 7 weeks of the Ultimate Fighter, it hasn't been beaten yet. So hopefully there's better things to come, but we'll see.
We saw on the show, we saw a vicious knockout of Gilbert Smith, and he said afterwards that you've always wanted to win a fight by flying knee. How did it feel to finally get that?
Me and my coach Nigel, we do it on the pads pretty much every day. I actually did it in one of my early fights against a guy called Ben Callen, but I caught him in the ribs and actually cracked one of his ribs in that fight. But I've never got a knockout. I never knocked out anybody. Never knocked out anyone in training. Never knocked out anyone anywhere. Boxing, Thai boxing, whatever. So to finally get a knockout it was a good feeling, and to get it with a flying knee was an even better feeling. Although I wouldn't say it was a flying knee. It was more like a skipping sort of knee because Gilbert's about this tall. But no, it was great. It was good.
And on the Ultimate Fighter, I understand obviously Chael was your coach, but how much did you get to see of John Jones as a coach and of that team?
We didn't really get to see much of his coaching, his style, because we were never there during practices, and I didn't speak to him much, but we got to spend a lot of time with the team and their opinions and what they were saying. And Jones is a fantastic fighter, but I wouldn't say he's the best coach in the world, in my opinion. But we'll see what happens on the series. I might be wrong. He might be doing some great things with his team, but Chael, I think I hit the jackpot with Chael, definitely.
And how do you feel about the rest of Team Sun or Team Dark Side, as you've called yourselves as of late?
The Team Dark Side, we gelled very, very well. We all got on from the start. We were very, very tight. We had Thor Trang from Sweden. He's like the best middleweight in Sweden. I think he's ranked 40th in the world. So the guy is a killer, and it was great to have him on my team because he's quite a quiet guy, reserved, but he's very intelligent and he's a very nice person. So me and him got on very well, and I got on very well with Jimmy Quinlan as well, who was an American wrestler / jiu-jitsu guy on our team. I got on well with everyone else, but they were the two main guys that I became friendly with. You obviously, there was a bit of friction sometimes, but if you live with 7 guys for 7 weeks, there's always going to be a few problems. But apart from that, I think it was pretty good.
The previous season 16, had a very negative stigma. People were comparing it to the Jersey Shore with the fights and Let Me Bang Bro and such. Did you see the previous season?
I started watching it and I got so bored that I stopped. I've watched a lot of the Ultimate Fighter. My favourite seasons are season 1 and season 5, which I'm sure is everyone's. But when I started watching season 16, it wasn't just the personality. I hate all that. Let me bang, bro, and all that. I hate that sort of stuff. But it was more the fights. The actual fights weren't that entertaining either, and I never really caught on to anyone. I think with these series, you find a couple of fighters that you can attach to, and you become fans of them, and you want to watch them progress. And in this season, there was no one like that to me. So no, I didn't watch any of it. I watched the first 3 episodes and got bored.
A lot of the fan reaction has been that this new season of The Ultimate Fighter has been completely different, more serious, higher production value. Is that something you noticed during taping?
I didn't realise, but they production told us about it. They said, it's going to have a different feel to it. We've brought in a different director. And we were like, all right. But, we just saw cameras videoing us. We didn't see the end product. So we were just as surprised as you guys when we saw the first episode. We had to wait until it was aired. And when we watched it, it was like, this is cool. Like, it's completely different. They did that little thing with your eyes, with the lights and all that sort of stuff. You know, it was cool, and you know, I'm glad that I've been part of like the renovation of the Ultimate Fighter. You know, the first ever series to have this new feel. It's pretty good.
And you talked previously before that you and Tour Train got on pretty well. Was there anything in specific with any of your other competitors, both positively and negatively, that affected you?
You know, throughout the series you get affected different ways, but I think positively, like I said with Thor, our team, we were willing to learn and we were willing to help each other. You know, going into this competition, it's quite a strange stigma because you could fight the people that you're training with, you know, because it depends who wins and who you get matched up against. So like Thor would be showing me things and he knows that he does them, and I could fight him later on in the series, and then, you know, he's taught me what he's going to do. So, but luckily for us, we all had a very team feeling. I was showing him stuff, he was showing me stuff, you know. So there wasn't much negativity going on at all, to be honest. I had a little bit of negativity with Uriah. Me and him didn't gel that well on the series. But apart from that, you know, I love training with everybody, and it was a great experience. And Chael jumped in all of our training sessions. He never missed a session. So, you know, it was great to be able to spar and train with a guy like Chael every day. You know, I got to spar with him. Probably did about 20-25 rounds with the guy, and every round I did was pure hell. So it was a good experience for me. I'm actually leaving this Sunday after the UFC, Fuel 7. I'm leaving to go to Portland to train with Chael for his fight with John Jones. So I got on famously with Chael. Me and him were very, very close, and, you know, I speaking to him every day and seeing how he is and seeing what his weight's like, getting ready for this upcoming camp. So I'll be out there Sunday, and, you know, I'll be kicking him in the head Monday, so it should be good.
And what was it like being completely isolated from the outside world for several weeks? Was it something that bothered you?
See, this is something that gets to people. I mean, I'm 24 years old. I've got no kids. I haven't got like a wife to worry about. I haven't got bills to worry about. You know, being isolated to me, I live in my gym back home in England, and the only thing that I struggled with was not having my phone, because I'm like an internet junkie. I'm a Twitter junkie. You know, all those sort of things. But as for being isolated, I thought it was the best experience of my life. I don't know how anyone could complain about anything. You know, there was guys crying, missing their families, and I don't understand that. I haven't got kids, but, you know, you sign up to be in that house and you sign up to be isolated, and you should be prepared for it. And I think I was one of the most prepared people by a long way for that, because of my lifestyle back home.
And that's obviously given you this opportunity to be here on UFC on Fuel 7. What do you think about the fight card and the matches on Saturday?
There's some really, really interesting fights. I'm a bit disappointed where Nedkov versus Tom Watson is so low down on the card. Like, I think that is going to be a really, really good fight. I've trained with Tom before. We're you know, we're not, I wouldn't consider us great friends, but we train together and we talk quite a lot. And I think he's an exciting fighter. And Nedkov obviously is an explosive, exciting fighter. So I expected that to be a lot higher up, and I think that's going to be one of the fights of the night. As for the main card, you know, you've got people like Jimmy Manua, who he is an explosive, exciting fighter. You can see that from when he beat the crap out of Carl Kinsbury recently. It's going to be a great card, and it's great for the UK to have another UFC here so early on in the year, to have an interim title bout, you know, to see Renan Barão again. I remember when I watched him fight Brad Pickett, and he caught him with that knee and jumped on his back like a spider monkey. Like, it was impressive. So I think the card's going to be really, really good. I think it's one of the best cards we've had in England for a long time, and I think it shows that, you know, European talent, like, you know, all the English guys coming up, like Paul Sass, you've got Harris, you've got loads of guys on the card. It's just getting better and better and better, and we're fighting better and better people, and, you know, it's just doing wonders for UK MMA, and hopefully the UFC will come back here again very soon and put on better fights. You know, I know we've got UFC Sweden coming up with the Stockholm card, and that card looks phenomenally good, and I wish I was going to that, but unfortunately I'm in the States. But, you know, it just shows that European MMA is, especially Scandinavia as well. You know, Scandinavia is a tough place for MMA, and I think the UFC is starting to realise, you know, you've got other places like Finland, Norway, all these countries, Sweden, that the talent coming from those countries is unbelievable, because you guys grapple, you've got all of those, you know, that background which England doesn't have. You're all very technical fighters, and I think it just shows that European MMA is growing, and it's going to be great for the UFC and for Europe.
The UFC has been doing a lot of international expansion, and do you see that coming to Europe later? Perhaps not this year, but next year?
Yeah, I think they're going to try and attack more countries, definitely. You know, they're trying to grow the brand everywhere. I mean, like I said, with Sweden, it's only the second card they're going to do here in Sweden. I think they've got places. I think they've done a card in Germany before. They might go revisit Germany. I know they've got to break France because France is quite big. Obviously, with people like Cyril on the cards. They've got a lot of French guys. They've got Francis Camon. You know, there's a few guys that they could use. But I know it's illegal in Paris, and it's illegal. I've been over there to watch shows before, and it's like more like shoot fighting because they can't have the ground and pound, the MMA. But the UFC are very, very good at working around those things and getting through the rules. So I'd love to see MMA in France. And you know, hopefully a few other countries around the world. You know, it's great to see them. That they went to Asia recently, didn't they? And you know, the bigger it gets, the better for everybody.
And just to round off, do you have any predictions for a fight, submission, and knockout of a night on Saturday?
I'm going to go fight of the night. I'm going to go Tom Watson against Stedkov, unless it's the main event, because usually they give it to the higher up cards. But my fight of the night, I think, will be Tom Watson against Nedkov. I think knockout of the night is going to be Jimmy Manua versus Cyril Diabate, going for Jimmy Manua on that one. And then submission of the night, it's got to be Paul Sass. You know, Paul Sass is going to get the Sass angle, and I'm sure he'll get submission of the night again. You know, so should be a great card. I'm looking forward to it.
All right, excellent. Well, you can keep your eyes on The Ultimate Fighter, Team Sonnen versus Team Jones, which airs Tuesdays every week, and we'll keep our eyes on Luke Barnatt, and thank you very much for your interview.
Appreciate it.
Programmet presenteras av betsafe.com.